Today I'll be demonstrating how to make paper cartridges with round balls, and then we'll do some shooting with them in the 1860 Army revolver. I'm Dustin and you're watching Guns of the West. Well, here is the Guns of the West paper cartridge kit, and I have featured this before, but I'll just give you a quick look at it again. This is an example of a .44 caliber kit. It's got the former with the die, it's got the powder funnel, it's got the papers, bullet lubricant, pre-cut circles, 100 of them. This kit does 100 cartridges, and a glue stick. And right here, I've got my personal one that I've been using, and you can see I've already got a batch started of some .44 caliber round ball cartridges. But let's go ahead and see how this works. In addition to the kit itself, I just need to have gunpowder, and in this flask I've got FFG GoX black powder, and over here the round balls. These are .44 caliber with a .454 diameter, but my kit, it also works with .451 or .457, and to know which ball to use, you really need to experiment with your gun. What your gun needs is what will determine what you use in your cartridges. Now, to do this, I've already taken my papers and I've cut them all in half, as I mentioned in my first instructional video for the kit. And by the way, down in the video description here, you'll be able to find a link to that first video in case you'd like to see it. That's the one where I used conical bullets. And in the description, of course, you'll find a link to where you can order a kit like this of your own. Well, anyway, I'm going to start by taking my glue stick, and I'll just rub glue on one end of this piece of paper. Not too much, just a quick thin layer. Then I'll take my former and the paper, and I just take this. You can see where the cut guideline is. You can see it better in person too. And I'm just going to put that just a little up over the guideline, wrap it around tight. You want it to be as tight as possible, but if you don't get it as tight as you want, there is a trick to it. This former is tapered, so now, even though that's a little loose, I just slide it farther on until it's tight. Now for my blade, I feel right there, I can feel that little cut ridge. I'm just using today a very common rectangular razor blade, and I'll just put that, feel through the paper, find that cut guideline, and just run it all the way around the former. And then that excess paper, it just tears right off like that. Then, once I've got that out of the way, I'll take the razor blade again, and I'm going to cut right along the bottom of the former, or top as it appears on your screen, just to trim off that excess paper as well, leaving it just like this. Now I'll take my die and my little circle of paper, if I can get a hold of it here. That's the trick. I'll lay that right on top of the die. There we go. Then take my glue stick again and just roll about 1/4 of an inch of the bottom of that cartridge in it. And then I'm just going to press that right through that circle and down into the die like this. Then I'll just press it down until it protrudes, until you can feel when it meets resistance. That's where I'll stop. And then, now that that's formed onto there, I just press that back down, lift it up, and there is a finished envelope portion of a paper cartridge. Now I'm just going to very carefully slide that off, and you'll just repeat that process for however many cartridges you want to do and let them dry. Now that's been sitting for a few moments, it's good and dry. I'm just going to pick it back up with the former, not all the way on, but just enough to get a hold of it. Lay it back down in the die, just set it down in there. Now in the top of my former, there is a built-in powder measure, and that holds 25 grains of powder, which is a historical charge for a .44 caliber cartridge. So I'll just fill that, no need for any other additional powder measure. Then I'll take my razor blade and I'll hold it over this piece of paper. Nice thing about the piece of paper, it protects the other surface from glue, and also there's going to be some excess powder like this. And when I'm all finished making all my cartridges, I can just sort of fold that paper up, pour it back into a powder can. Now, I'm going to take the funnel from the kit, put it down into the paper cartridge envelope, and just pour in the powder and remove the funnel. Now we're ready for a ball. So I'll take a round ball, get my glue stick again, and I'm just going to roll the ball around in the glue like this. Just get it nice and coated. Then I'll set it carefully on top of the cartridge and then just press it down until it's tight. You can hear the powder crunch. That's when you know it's tight. And then I'll lift the die up, which crimps the paper onto the ball like that. Now I can just press it down and it pops out. Take the former and just give it a nudge to remove it from the die. And we have a perfectly formed 44 caliber round ball cartridge. Well, now that we've got it formed, we want to get it lubed. And the kit does come with this stick of bullet lube. It's a mixture of beeswax and lamb tallow. It works very well, but this mostly works good on conical bullets that have a lube groove. On a round ball, there's not really a lot to grab it if I try to apply it with this. So what I would recommend is dip lubing. And I do have lube for that. This is the exact same lube material, but in a tin. And I have these available in 2 ounce and 4 ounce. They are sold separately from the kit. But anyway, let's go warm this up, and then I'll show you how to dip lube a paper cartridge. All right, the lube has melted. And for this demonstration, I'm just doing this here on the stove, although normally when I'm doing a lot of cartridges, I have a hot plate out on my workbench just so I don't have a lot of lead in the kitchen, but I'm just doing a few, so this will be fine. And I only need the lube to go from the top of the ball down to just about where the paper starts. I'm not going to cover the whole cartridge. I have been asked that before, but no, just the ball. So I'm just going to tip this upside down and lower the ball end of the cartridge into that beeswax and lamb tallow, and then right back up, and you can see that has got a good amount of lube on it. And I'll just set that aside. I like to have a little wax paper off to the side, but then you'll just repeat that process for each of your cartridges and let them cool down. Alright, now for the fun part of shooting. To load up the cartridges, I'll pull my hammer to the half cock position. That's what frees the cylinder. And I'll just take one of my paper cartridges, place it into a chamber just like this, rotate it under the rammer, take my loading lever, and just drive that all the way down into the chamber. And I'll just repeat this all the way around the cylinder. Alright, the chambers are all loaded with cartridges. And remember, I've already dip lubed the cartridges, so I'm not going to bother putting any lube over the chambers at this point. It'll be just ready to go. Now for the percussion caps that I'll be using, these are the Remington number 10 percussion caps. And that reminds me, I've been getting a lot of questions. People ask me, where are you finding these Remington number 10 percussion caps? Well, I'll be honest with you, right now I'm not. Just like a lot of you, I'm struggling to find them, but luckily when times were good, I had enough of them stockpiled away that I can still go out and shoot. Hopefully things will get back to normal before I run out, but I am with you all in that struggle right now. But these are the Remington number 10s, and we'll just get them on all of the nipples. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this look today at the making of round ball paper cartridges. Please don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos. There are plenty more to come. And don't forget to look in the video description to see where you can find a paper cartridge kit of your own and even other great Guns of the West products. Thank you so much for watching.